You're listening to the Business Focused Photographer. If you're ready to transform your photography business into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll discuss fun and innovative ways to boost your creativity and income. Sound good? Let's go.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I have a new friend. Today, I'm talking with Shayna Lloyd, who is a traveling photographer and videographer based out of Montana. She works with really adventurous and laid back people, which I think is the dream for everybody, right? Her signature style video can be described as something that's like vlogs meet indie films. And her photos are right in line with that. So Shayna will shoot a multi-day destination wedding to multimedia content package for creative brands. And her story-driven approach and experience first approach is really what makes her stand out in the market, as well as her focus on simplicity and ease in all areas of her business. And that's what has helped her replicate her results for other photographers. So you can be Shayna when you grow up too. So welcome, Shayna.
Hello, Jill. I want to be you when I grow up. Um, when I saw your line about being rare in the industry because you're business first versus photography first, I was like, oh, we're going to be best friends.
Yeah, I listen, that's a whole Pandora's box. But yes, I totally am. And I should mention that Shayna, aka Shay, is co-host on the Devin and Shay podcast. So, or the Devin and Shay show podcast, and which is really funny, really superhuman, and really insightful. I've definitely enjoyed it since discovering it. So check her and Devin out there. But today, we're going to really try to focus on, we were just talking about the ADHD-ness of everything, but we're going to try to focus on how to upsell video without burning out, because I feel like there is a trend for photographers to learn video, and that's awesome. But the trend does not include learning how to sell it. So that is what Shay knows how to do. But first, Shay, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and anything you think is important to know about you?
Absolutely, Jill. The origin story of my business is a little weird for the industry in that I am a failed YouTube influencer. So I actually started a vlog in college, and I recorded everything from interviews with my roommates about how their dating life was going to a series on my channel where I would showcase different hikes in Montana. And at the time, travel diaries were blowing up. So think like Utah moms like posing in front of really blue water. And
Yes.
I thought, wow, Montana has really blue water too. And while those videos blowing up, the trend at the time, they were called travel diaries. I made the series on my YouTube channel, Montana Diaries. And what happened was the best lesson that could ever happen to a new content creator, which is the power of SEO driven content marketing. So those videos had crazy good search engine optimization. I was showing up for every beautiful location in Montana. And so very organically, local brands, outdoor brands, think fly fishing outfitters. I had a lodge that I worked for quite a bit, a clothing company. Started inquiring about me doing video and later photo for their businesses. And I also had couples reaching out for me to shoot their weddings. And those first jobs were rough. They were nothing special, but I got the reps in and kept growing, and eventually ended up having this hybrid video and photo business that I have today.
And as I just learned, you did it not backwards, but opposite of how most of us end up doing both, is you were shooting video first and then learned photo.
Yes.
So that's interesting, and it explains why you are an authority on the subject. So cool. That's an interesting backstory. We have not had anything like that yet. So cool. I love
I know
hearing stuff like
there's
that.
not a lot of people in the photo space who willingly admit the market doesn't want them as an influencer.
But aren't you like, have you had a sigh of relief over that as
Oh
as
yeah.
the influencer shtick has evolved and really I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I have
Absolutely.
my opinions about, but yeah, I think this is you have way more integrity now. Now you're helping other people like without being smarmy here, you are genuinely helping other people, maybe women who need to be financially independent and grow their business in a way. And so I think there's a lot of value there, to what you're doing now as an educator. And then of course, the value as a wedding photographer and videographer is implied. Those are very special. And yay for the short, well, I don't think your days are short, but for those elopements and the new trend in weddings, because
Yes.
yeah, I think the old like Italian villas and country club weddings they got kind of tired. And this is somebody who had a country club wedding and is Italian, so I can say that.
Listen, I love a country club. I love a golf course. I love an Italian woman. So you're in good.
Well, okay. So let's talk. That's really interesting. So first you were just shooting weddings, and then how did you figure out your niche of like the type of wedding and the type of couple that you really enjoyed working with?
That's a beautiful question. I think the proximity principle played a lot into how I started in really large weddings. I didn't know there was another option, really. The college I went to, I think of Montana, I think half of it as being like Mountain West slash like inland PNW, and the other half as being very Midwest. And where I went to college, I would consider a very Midwestern culture. So
Okay.
think like very traditional days, barn weddings, like 500, 600 people because you invite the whole town. And then I got married and we hated planning our wedding. I hated it. I hated the idea that people we barely knew were expected to have to come. I hated the expectation of it all. I hated like doing things just to do it. I hated the research part of it, of sifting through all these vendors' websites and not knowing what they even delivered and how much things were. And the whole process was so insane to me. And whereas there's already a very beautiful culture of more non-traditional elopements, very nature-based elopements happening in places like Northern California and Oregon and Washington. From my perspective, Montana wasn't even close to there yet. And so when we were planning this wedding, my husband and I were planning this bachelorette camping weekend in our hometown. And 2 weeks before that camping weekend with all of our friends, we looked at each other and almost joking, we were like, what if we just got married that weekend? And so we realized that we could get our parents on board, grandparents, and be happy having this 30-person wedding in our hometown. I got a Lulu's maxi dress. We went to Kohl's, bought him a suit that was on sale, and we just did it in his grandparents' backyard. And then afterward, we had a Costco brunch and a bunch of speeches from like impromptu speeches from our friends and family. And 2 hours later, we were all swimming in a lake together and then getting drunk that night at the bar and dancing all night. I didn't have a professional photographer at this wedding, Jill. And
Of course.
so that began my context of you can have such a beautiful, special, intimate experience completely on your terms. And it doesn't have to mean that it isn't just as beautiful as a traditional wedding and meaningful more than beautiful. We joke all the time. We're like, we'd have the same wedding, but we would plan it. Like we would have made it like prettier and less kitschy. So that was my context of what could be possible. And then fast forward to 2020, when obviously everything changed for everyone in the industry.
Right.
That was my cue to completely rebrand into talking specifically to people like me who hated the wedding planning experience, wanted something artsy and story driven and meaningful for their coverage, and also a day that truly felt aligned with their personalities and lifestyles. And I was like, well, I did it. I know there's a market for this. I'm now more exposed to people in other states who are providing this experience and know it's not a weird thing to do. I know there's people who want to come to Glacier National Park and have an experience like this, not just a photo shoot. So I completely rebranded. I invested over $10,000 in a real website. I'd never had a web designer before. Completely changed my brand, changed how I talked to people. I started talking like myself, really went back to the roots of that YouTube channel with my stupid humor and combined it into a real business. So I would say like I've dedicated the entirety of my 20s to this business, but the first half of my 20s was a very, very, very different business. It's like I turned 25 in 2020. I think that math checks out, and decided the second half of my 20s were this.
That's amazing. So you're not 30 yet.
I just turned 30.
You just turned. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
When was your birthday?
Thank you. June 30th.
June 30th. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you're, what does that make you? Like early Cancer?
Yeah, I'm a Cancer. I'm a
Yeah.
crybaby.
I like Cancers though. I like Cancers. Well, amazing. Your wedding sounds awesome.
Thank you. I love
Sounds
that.
like a really cool day. Yeah. So that's like such a great way to recognize what you want to be doing as a service provider, creative service provider, and to genuinely market
Yes.
this version of, nuptials, because you really need to believe in what you're selling, right? And you
Yeah.
clearly do, because you lived it, you did it.
Yes.
And now you were telling me before we started recording that you travel a lot. You really do travel a lot for work, and at some point you didn't totally pivot, but you added a hat to your career as this educator.
Yes.
So can you just speak to that a little bit, so we can kind of set the stage for what you do?
Yes. Jill loves a story. She loves a stage.
I'm nosy, straight up nosy.
I love it. I love it. So basically, things just happen for me, Jill. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but in 2020, I was pregnant with my first kid, right? And Clubhouse obviously exploded. And
That's right.
I know this, yeah, I know that existed. That existed. So Clubhouse was an app where everyone could go into different rooms and just talk to each other. So everyone was really lonely in 2020. And so as I'm having this baby, as I'm postponing a ton of weddings, refunding some, which I already was in the process of refunding a good chunk of the weddings when I found out I was pregnant and due during wedding season. So I was out of money for photo video.
Sure.
So really all of this was just a really big swing. What was happening at the same time as I felt like my photo video business was kind of failing was that whole year before 2019 on, I was organically getting a lot of DMs from photographers seeing that I was hybrid shooting, asking, how are you doing this? How are you doing photo and video at the same time? And to me, I was like, oh, like I can really simplify this for you. But these one-on-one coaching calls are actually kind of a lot with my lifestyle right now. And so I got into the world of online education, of course creation, which now is so common that like I don't think people know how weird it was for me to have been doing this 5 years ago. So right when my first course at the time was called Videography for Photographers, right as that launched, basically a few months later, shutdowns were happening and then Clubhouse was exploding. So I was getting into these rooms and just talking my talk about hybrid shooting and upselling video and how easy this really could be, that if you want to do it, you can find a way to do it to fit into your business and into your lifestyle, into your goals. And it doesn't have to be this tech bro, like YouTube unboxing, like super dramatic, scary thing. You can do this with the equipment you already have. And so as I'm pivoting my whole photo video business, my education business is making more money than my photo video business did that year.
Amazing.
It was crazy, Jill. Like,
wow.
And like, it was hard to frame it this way at the time. There was a lot of insecurity, a lot of doubt, but it ended up being so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for that year.
I think for anybody who didn't have like any serious losses during 2020, we can look back on it for many people as a time when we were able to refocus and reconnect and slow down. And it enabled people like us, in your case, like you, to really just branch out and explore these unexplored avenues and alleyways and build something there. And it's so great. And yeah, I hear you as somebody who sells courses. Like, yeah, everybody sells a fucking course now.
Yes.
And it's so it is cliche. And that's like not about me, but I will say, like, as a result, like the asynchronous online course is not my thing as an educator because I can't I don't know, it just anyway. And yeah, because it's like, God, this feels wrong. But yeah, I think that also is just we're in that industry, so we see it all. And it's kind of like photographers, like everybody's a photographer. We're like, no, you're just following them all on Instagram. We're
Yes.
just following all the other educators. So anyway, that's fantastic. So now you are effectively teaching other photographers, other videographers how to add video on and then upsell it. So
Yes.
let's dive into that, because that's the meat here. And I'm genuinely curious about, as somebody who does also shoot hybrid, which of course I think it's already known at this point. When we say shoot hybrid, we're not talking about film and digital. We're talking about video
Yes.
and photography. I also offer video. A very small percentage of my clients upgrade to it.
Mhm.
So you got my attention. Like, how do you do it, Shay? What's the secret?
I love this. Well, if you don't mind, Jill, me monologuing a bit with you interrupting when something excites you. Does that sound good? Because
You want me to interrupt you?
please, please.
Okay.
I think like seeing the spark in your eye and seeing what catches and seeing like where questions are in the middle, that's going to be super fruitful to the listeners if you're game.
I mean, it's what I just can't not do that. So perfect.
Stunning. I love it. We're the same. I have for you today the 5 keys of upselling video. And if you can get through these 5 steps and really be a practitioner of them, then by next season, you will be set up to be a productive hybrid photographer, videographer who's actually scaling your business by increasing the value of each client rather than increasing your workload with more quantity of clients. Sound good?
Yeah.
Beautiful, gorgeous. So the first step of upselling video is to pick a medium. And I don't actually care what medium you pick. And it's all about practicing it, being excited about it so that you talk about it more, and making your clients excited about it as well. So when I say medium, we're going to keep it simple today. What I want you to do is either pick digital video that you can take handheld with the camera you're already using for photos. That is an option. It's a beautiful option. It's what I've built my business on. You can pick a point and shoot add-on like iPhone video or Super 8 video, or camcorder video is like a really cool vintagey option that doesn't have the weight and processing time that Super 8 does. So once you pick that medium, then you are good to go to practice for the next 4 steps. Good so far, Jill?
Good so far. I got it.
Amazing. Step 2 of what I want you to do is to integrate hybrid shooting into the sessions you're already doing. And what I mean by this is it's not about getting an exact yes from your current clients that they want to buy video. At this point, it's you need to increase your library of video content that you can then share in your marketing efforts and surprise and delight your current clients if you get anything worth sharing. And this sounds like a really, really scary step. And I totally empathize with that. But we cannot sell video if we don't have portfolio for future clients to be able to judge against if they're making those buying decisions. We cannot sell video if we are not actively showing that we can hybrid shoot video and do it well. When I say to practice during these shoots, I also want to break it down into what makes that possible. Do we have time for that, Jill?
Yeah.
Amazing. When we get into a place as photographers where we're ready to hybrid shoot, a lot of the pushback I get is, but I'm so focused on photos. How can I possibly toggle to video or pick up another camera or even my iPhone to get video? I am so focused on providing a great experience with photo. I'm an artiste. I can't possibly think about hybrid shooting. I hear this all the time. And my pushback to this, my loving pushback is, I'm getting close to the mic so I can whisper it. Okay, get ready, listeners. Is it possible in any world, is it possible that you are overshooting photos?
Us?
Us?
Dear
Me?
listeners?
What?
Nobody
Is it
overshoots.
possible that with the beautiful invention of mirrorless cameras and silent shutters, where you can just focus without looking at the camera, that you can press down that shutter button, that you are possibly getting 30 to 60 frames of the exact same image at a time in our year of 2025 with AI culling? Is it possible that that's
it might be a
happening?
little possible. And maybe it's a little, maybe sometimes I like shoot 2,000 frames in like a 45-minute family session. Maybe.
Oh, is that possible,
Who,
Jill?
me?
Is that? So with that love and call out, I just want to point out that all a video is frames per second. So if you're spending 5 seconds already getting 30 to 60 photos of the same thing, then I want to challenge you to toggle over to video and get that same 5 seconds of a video clip. And I assure you, this is all reps. It's all practice. Once you get in that habit of toggling over and dedicating 5 seconds for a video clip that you're happy with instead of those extra 30 frames of photo, then I just want you to believe that if you practice and just get those reps in, this becomes second nature and you don't even have to think about it anymore. And I promise you that's true, because I'm not techie. I'm not particularly talented. I'm a person who practices and works hard, and I can do it. So I know you can do it. Good
That's
enough?
a secret for everybody, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Yes. Yesterday, I had a conversation with somebody else who referenced the analogy of like the bamboo and all of the time it spends underground before we see it. And
Yes.
it's the same for everybody and everything. You gotta like you say, you gotta get your reps in. That's all.
Yes.
So you just practice
And
it.
I
Agree.
believe that wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
The next barrier is, even if you believe that's possible, maybe you don't know when it's appropriate to switch to video. You're like, when do I take video? When do I prioritize it? And to that, I want you to think about the function of the clips you're taking and what they do for the viewer. And I promise, if you just get this in your mindset, what I'm about to talk about, it will actually change the way you take photos as well. Every single student I've ever had who's really been a practitioner of what I'm about to say has said it has affected how dynamic their final photo galleries are as well, because they're thinking about everything on a storytelling level and the function of the type of clip. So if you're a consumer of films, right, and if you're a student of film, you know there's like over 100 different types of shots that mean different things in film. I today want to dumb it down into 5 different types of shots. And if you take these 5 clips in any given scene, string them together, you have a full, comprehensive story. And the first shot I want to talk about is a wide shot. And let's think about the function of a wide shot, Jill. And that is a shot that shows setting. It orients our viewer in space and time and climate. So we're seeing where we are, right? Then when we go into a long shot, which how we define long shot can be full body or waist up of a subject. But the function of this shot is it shows how our subject moves within the space that we just established. Okay, so we're out to in. We're in that wide shot to that long shot. We've already learned so much about setting and character just with these 2 shots. Then if we go in again on a close-up, which we've combined with an extreme close-up, in these shots, if it's just a chest up or just face, the only information the viewer is learning is about the subject themselves. It's no longer about setting. If we go in even more on details, so think about hands that are gesticulating while I'm talking, or hands holding vows, or if it's in a family session, a child's hand holding on to a mother's, or the way a partner might brush hair out of a face. We're learning even more about how that subject operates in the world on a molecular level, right?
Okay.
Then if we shift attention for this 5th shot into B-roll, which I define as things the subject themselves might be noticing. It's pulling focus technically, but it really rounds out the story. If we focus on these 5 shots for video, I promise your photos will follow suit and you will have a more dynamic, interesting photo gallery, as well as 5 clips to string together for portfolio, for storytelling, for strengthening your ability to hybrid shoot. Does this start to feel possible?
This is amazing. This is such great information. It absolutely is. And I think it makes it all seem much more doable now.
I love that. So we're still in step 2 of upselling video, which is actually practicing during your client shoots with the medium that you picked in step 1. Next, it's all about thinking about our marketing efforts, right? So in step 3, we're thinking about in step 3, sorry, I was about to get ahead of myself. We are adding video to our pricing guide. And you might be thinking, listener, you're like, you want me to add video to my pricing guide without having like a fully fleshed video in my portfolio? And the answer is yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. The only obligation you have to a client when you're selling something is to deliver a final product that is on par with the portfolio you showed them when they bought that service from you. So all you have to do once you have this practice material, that's what you're showing your client, what you're selling to your client. When they sign on the dotted line that they want this upsell from you, you don't need to stress about delivering them a perfect final product. All you need to do ethically and legally is when you deliver their video, make sure it's on par with the portfolio you showed them from the practice phase, right?
Perfect.
Amazing.
Yes.
Next, we need to think about a 2-phase marketing plan. And so in step 4, let's think about long form content marketing. We want this to be extremely searchable. And this all sounds very nerdy, but I want to break it down into, say you're posting this practice video on YouTube. The title needs to be something a potential client might be searching for. For me, that might be Glacier National Park, videographer, and photographer. Easy as that. And then I want that embedded into your website, which you also want to rank and search for, really tackling those keywords. And when we say keywords, artists shrivel up and they don't want to listen anymore. All I'm saying is literally what someone might type their little fingers into Google or AI into what they're looking for. And I want you to be the person that comes up for that search term. So that's all I want you to do. I want you to blog about what you want to sell. Whatever medium you chose in the first phase, combined with the media you practiced with in the second phase. And I want you to try to get them to the next phase of marketing, which is inquiring with you. And then you'll be able to send them that pricing guide where you've added video. Deal?
It's amazing.
It all adds on to each other.
Yes.
Next, we need to think about short-term / short-form marketing, which is basically just social media. Photographers are obsessed with social media. That's where we want to start. I get it. It's easy. It's sexy. It's like instant gratification with likes and comments. I don't give a shit about your likes and comments. What I want is when potential clients are literally searching for what it is you do, that you come up. And I feel this way about short form as well. We need to treat our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube shorts like they're searchable, because they are searchable in this year of 2025. So use that formula of location and what you want to sell with a valuable caption related to the media you're posting, with a call to action saying you can book me for photo and this type of video by doing this. It should all follow this format. No matter what you're posting, it should all go back to how they can move forward with what it is you're posting about. And Jill, quickly on this point, I got a little pushback about this at my last retreat. And I actually loved this feedback because I want to speak to it. I had an attendee say, well, that's not how I use Instagram and TikTok. I'm not searching for things on there. And I was like, you know what? That's a great point. Here's what I want to say to it. First of all, if there are 2 people in the world who are searching for this very specific thing, and that's the only 2 views you get because you're the only one who comes up, and that converts to one $10,000 wedding, Who cares if the content didn't do well? It's a successful piece of content because it converted. This has literally happened to me. I've had a TikTok that got 7 views that I was kind of embarrassed about that converted to a wedding. So like, who cares? That's a successful piece of content. The second thing I want to say to it, because these aren't platforms where we're particularly focused on searching, and I think that's a fair feedback. What we're also doing with these very searchable, valuable captions with the media we're practicing with is we're also teaching the platform who this content is for. So if we're just making it that much easier for the platform to categorize the content, then it should show up in the feeds of the people who are most interested in seeing it. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. Yeah.
Amazing.
And it really takes it's not a big lift to put this out there in these different places.
No.
So like you're saying, if it doesn't get a lot of traction, who cares? It's
Who
something.
cares?
All of these little
Yes.
bricks add up to a wall, and they all matter. And the other point about you don't need it to go viral because you're not serving the whole world. You know,
Agreed.
you're really in a bubble of sorts of people who can actually hire you and that you want to be in front of. So yeah, it's I think people got photographers, and I'm sure other service providers, local service providers, got confused through being on social media, where like they think the goal is to go viral and have 50,000 followers. And it's like, that's not your goal. Maybe if you were the influencer, but you're not. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
not talking to you. I'm not calling you out for
no, I actually love this because what ended up happening with me personally is I've never gotten traction on any social media, but I'm booked out every single year and my income grows every single year. So I think that's a beautiful example of how social media can be a tool without the goal needing to be virality, you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
on the flip side, I have plenty of friends in the industry who have succeeded as influencers in the space who say that traction can be a barrier to people inquiring with you because they just assume you're too busy or assume you're too expensive for them.
Right.
So
right.
it can be a stopper. Like you feel inaccessible to people when like if you switch to serving and selling with the clear call to action, that format, that's always an invitation for the right people to reach out.
Yeah, agree. I think it also must dilute who's seeing you and like
Yes.
your reach and who the algorithm thinks you're talking to. If all of a sudden you're popular in Beijing and you're in Montana, it's not really getting you too
Yes.
far. Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry. That was I derailed you. Continue.
No, you did great. It's really beautiful. We're on step 5. And to this step, I'm actually excited about with your audience because these are people who listen to you, who understand the importance of the business and selling side of photography. So a lot of my students don't love step 5, but I think you and your students will love it. Step 5 is integrating these upsells into your touch points. And when we talk about touch points, I like to distill it down to there's a side of touch points, which is every single place, online, in person, whatever, where someone interacts with your brand. But there's also these intentional interpersonal touch points of when you're reaching out to your potential clients and your clients, where they interact with you, the service provider. I mostly want to talk about the second, where I always want you talking about your upsells and what you can provide in every area of your brand. But specifically, whenever you're emailing a client, if it's worked in where you reach out once a month or 3 months out, 6 months out, whatever you have in your process, I want you just excitedly showing them your video work. My business partner for education, Devin, does this with their Super 8. If there is a venue she's excited to work at and she does Super 8 film for a similar type of wedding, she'll send that to her clients that she's already booked for, and she'll keep sending them Super 8 videos until they add on Super 8. Like it gets to a point where they can't imagine their wedding without this thing that she can do because she's constantly sending it to them, not in a way that's like, you need to add this, but in a way that's painting a vision of the future, what they could have if they add on this service. With me, I very rarely get a client who isn't instantly booking me for both, right? And so when this does happen, it's budget, right? So when you're just continuously serving them and reminding these clients like what you can do and what your value is, and you keep showing them the possibility of what a video could look like with you, and it's in your photo style because you have a distinct voice at this point, you have a distinct style. When you're constantly just showing them your work and showing up with your passion, that oftentimes converts to the sale. And it's not personal. Budget, like money and budget, is never personal. And the thing with me, because I know this so deeply, oftentimes for larger weddings, if I'm booked for one service, it's video. So I'm used to, as just being a videographer, knowing that oftentimes that's the last vendor booked, right? If I'm booked like 1, 2, 3, 4 months before a wedding, I know it's because they found the budget, and it's hard to prioritize video sometimes until you know everything else you're spending money on. So I know that, so it's never personal for me. But as a photographer adding video, he might be like, oh, they don't want me. They don't want me. No, they don't. They can't justify the expense until closer to the wedding day sometimes.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And one of my hills that I die on, and usually in every episode, is about pricing and the emotions in pricing. And
yes,
you don't take it personally. We can be woo and we can say like, there's abundance and there's enough to go around, blah, blah, blah. But most people actually do have like a bank account with a number or a credit limit with a number, and like they just can't wish for more money and have it appear. So it is not personal. If they've inquired with you, it's because they are interested in you and they like what you're doing. And if they can't afford you, they can't afford you.
Yes.
So that's all.
Yeah, and objections are always a beautiful opportunity to learn what your talking points need to be and what you can speak to. When people have objections, they're interested. They want to buy from you. When they like have worries, when they have questions, that's an opportunity to reiterate how you can serve them and why you're the best person for them. If they have no questions and they're just disinterested, that person doesn't care. They don't want to buy from you. There's nothing to speak to.
I think we read the same books. We're like,
I read all the douchey business books.
I know. What the fuck? We need some female entrepreneurs to write some. I guess there have been some.
I'm working on it.
But that's wonderful. And yeah, it is like, I was a bride who did not add video on. I regret it. Of course, it's like a cliche and at this point, but I was that bride. So, and I get it. If like we had gotten to a point where, and I was like mindful with the budget, I would be like, oh, but there is room for a videographer. And then, yeah. And so just sidebar. So are you very often affiliated with other photographers and who recommend you for video, or are they just finding you, or is it a referral? What's going on?
Yeah, I would say my top lead generator is Google. Second is Instagram. Third is planners/photographers. And my bread and butter is a small wedding where I am photo video. But when I'm contracted for just video, referrals are huge for me for a lot of the time. And so I would say too, that also opens up a lot of income for a photographer willing to add on video if you can increase your volume with video only days. And usually my video only days are high ticket weddings. So those are high ticket days for me. I'm not like leaving my family to make half the money I usually make.
Well, I was going to ask that next, like what your profit margins look like when you're booking like an elopement where you're shooting hybrid, or a full day traditional wedding where you're the videographer. Do they end up being similar in what you bring home?
Yeah. I would say my highest income maker is elopements. I don't do elopements in the way some people might. Some people think of elopements as being 2 to 4 hours. I'm working, like we are hiking, we're doing little private dinners after. Sometimes it's multi-day experiences when I can upsell multiple days. So it can be anywhere from like 8 to 10 if it's multiple days to like 15, 20 hours with these people. So those are high ticket projects.
Yeah, that is not what I think of when I think of elopement.
Totally. Totally. And I've expanded my definition to, I'm not strict with definitions of words. I care about what the market thinks those words are. So it can be anywhere from 2 people to 25 people sometimes.
Yeah.
And so with my video only days, which are Saturdays usually, that price tag is pretty high. It usually is travel too. And typically like higher budget weddings with planners trust you more if you charge more. Like, not to derail this completely.
Oh, really? No, I mean,
Totally.
I'm not a wedding photographer. So
Mhm.
and like my limited experience of working with planners is very limited. And so I don't really have a big picture of that. That's really interesting and that's encouraging.
Yeah, no, I've had planners be very real with me where they're like, can you copy your price and guide and make it higher because my client will not hire you unless this price is higher.
Preach.
No, rich people are crazy. I love it.
And like, is it? Yeah. Um, it's also consumer mindset of any
Yes.
slice of the socioeconomic demographic. It's like people that do equate that number with your value.
Yeah.
So what are you communicating with that number that you chose? Like probably
Totally.
arbitrarily, probably with
Yeah.
almost no math.
Yes. Agreed. Oh my gosh. We need a second podcast episode for this.
No, it's thank you for just appeasing me with that point because it's a hill. It's a hill. I'm dead on it. I've been dead on that hill for a long time. But yeah, this is so a lot of those 5 steps. Let's see. Like me as your student right now, I've got one down. I think the same as you. I shoot mirrorless. I toggle over to video.
Yes.
I started by secretly shooting during sessions, wasn't even talking about it, and to see what it was like. Started and then put it on my pricing page, and then it just kind of,
It peters out because you're not. Are you talking about it?
No, I do. It's in first touch point of outside of like marketing it is like in the client onboarding form, letting them know this is an option that you have. This is what it costs to add it on. Do you want to learn more about this? Do you want to commit now to adding it on? But after that, YouTube, and I already know from an SEO standpoint that YouTube is really powerful. It's like the top search engine.
It's the second used search engine, Google being the first.
Of course.
And here's the kicker is Google owns YouTube.
Yeah. Of course.
Yes.
They're all conglomerates now. But
I would say, Jill, the only thing I would add to that first touch point is instead of are you interested in video, it being more like, wait, imagine if we did this and like here's my vision for this. And I think your session would be so sick hybrid shot because like give me an example. What's your top like session that you sell?
Just a golden hour family session. So
Oh my
lifestyle,
God.
like semi-documentary. Yeah.
So
and it always blows clients out of the water when they get it, but they didn't know what they didn't know before
exactly.
they saw it.
So in that first touch point, if you're like, wait, I was just thinking about this. Like Tommy just turned 12, right? And he's like really into baseball now. Okay. Like, so we're thinking about senior photos in a few years. Wouldn't it be cool for his grad party if through these family sessions over the next few years, I'm like gathering video from all of these sessions and then we can put it all together in a few years for his grad party? And then the mom, it's a no-brainer. It's like, oh my God, that's going to make me cry so hard. Like, this is about our legacy. This is about documenting the way our family moves. And so you're painting this beautiful vision that makes it an obvious yes, instead of, hey, do you want video? Like, here's what it would cost.
You're a genius.
Thank you.
This is like, so a big part of my, like one of my biggest deficits is that I'm not like a super productive seller. Good marketer. I can convert a lot just via marketing and like the most direct my selling will get is through my email marketing or social media marketing and like, or sometimes I just cold call past clients like, hey, you didn't schedule yet for this year. But that sort of conversation, that non-scripted, non-templated, it's not something that's automated that goes out. We're super organic communication with a client that is personalized and genuine because I do genuinely think that Tommy's grad party would be really awesome with that montage. And I can tell you do too, because your brain was immediately able to concoct this idea for my industry that I don't think are in. So wow, I like your brain, Shay.
Thank you. Do you ever do seniors?
I don't so much anymore. My associates do. Seniors.
Okay.
I'm 40. I'm like so far away from them that it's
I'm
just not. I'm
only
not.
30. Seniors already think I'm so lame. I'm like, so you like Bad Bunny?
And me, I'm like, what bunny? Like, which bunny are we talking about?
The
But
bad
no,
one. The
my
bad
associates are even younger than you, so they do well with seniors. But yeah,
Well,
but
here's
yeah,
my anecdote about seniors is they love TikTok, but they don't want it to seem like they're trying too hard. So if it's just like their senior photographer getting some like shitty iPhone clips that then they can post on their TikTok, that's so much more valuable to them than a produced like camera
right.
like clip. So and you can upsell those for $1,000. I've done it.
I'm gonna see.
Which sounds crazy.
We need a link to an example of this because
Okay.
I'm very curious about that. That's
It's literally a Dropbox folder of iPhone clips during their session that they then post on TikTok.
really.
It's
And
crazy.
do they did they stitch it together themselves and like?
Yeah, they can do whatever they want with them. I think part of this method, if there's any brand photographers listening too, is you do have to drop the ego. Like you can't be like, oh no, are they going to tag me all 50 times they use this content throughout the next 3 years? Oh no, are they going to edit these videos with their weird ass filters? Yeah, they're going to. Like you just need to be okay with that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so you came in to the industry at a time that no, it sounds like you were already pre-pandemic. You had an established business.
Yeah, like 2018 is when I went full time.
Okay, so you probably remember a time before because pandemic, for whatever reason, and I actually can think of a lot of reasons, but for whatever reason, the pandemic marketing, selling, booking was shooting fish in a barrel. It was so easy. It was crazy. We were not expecting once we were allowed to work again to get that much work, and it became easy. So many photographers came in during that time and became acclimated to this ease of getting and booking. And once things are starting to like level out and stabilize, I don't think that I don't think it's like an actual dip in bookings. I think it's just things are kind of like normalizing to what they were pre-pandemic.
Totally.
And it feels like it's harder to get bookings now because it is harder to get. We have to go back to like actually marketing and selling. Anyway, but during that time, if you came in, you were kind of spoiled by that. You kind of like got this attitude about like, you can come to me and it's a privilege to work with me. I am the prize. Like this isn't about your photos. This is about working with me. And that is shitty. And that is ineffective. And that is the opposite of the attitude you really need to have. Like just said to another photographer the other day, who is like a genuine luxury photographer. It's like, yeah, you're a luxury photographer, but the luxury is not to work with you. It's what you're doing for your clients. That's the luxury. So like, don't nitpick about if people didn't tag you or like, listen, I get like a little verklempt about not when people don't tag, but not because I want the recognition. It's normally like when I want to know who took this photo because I like it and I probably want to book them. That's the only thing. But like, yeah, people get so high and mighty for photographers, really. It's really annoying and it's not good. It's not a good look. So yeah, let the kids do what they want with the footage that you sell them, that they give you a bunch of money for.
Yes. Just to put a final point on it, if there are brand photographers listening, which I know I went very elopement weddings today just because we were talking about me, myself, and I and what I mostly do. But like when I do branding, think about your own business. You're a business owner. Just think about what you would want from your brand photographer. Because for me, that's how I run my business. I'm like, yeah, I think it's annoying when brand photographers like feel precious about their raws. If you're doing brand photos for someone who has a distinct brand style, any commercial job, if you get higher up into fashion, like working for brands like Free People or Patagonia, like you're not editing those photos, buddy. Like you're giving them to the brand. And it's the same with video. We have to think like what would be valuable for this client where it's such an easy freaking yes. And for brand photographers, this is so much easier than any other niche. You don't have to edit anything. All any business owner needs is a library of videos that they can drag into their little social media apps whenever they're stressed on content, and it'll work with any of the captions they've batched. As a photographer, if a photographer gave you that experience where they're giving you an hour or two of their time busting through outfits, like really thinking about usability for the next year or two so you don't have to do this again, and also hybrid shooting, and gives you like 100 video clips to use all year, like in a Dropbox folder after, that you can just use for your content marketing for the next year, wouldn't you pay top dollar for that experience?
Yes. And like, thank you for touching on the multiple corners of this industry where video is valuable.
Yes.
It's a tougher sell for a family photographer.
A little bit,
I think
yeah.
it is.
It's
But
more
like,
emotional. Like you have to think about the buyer mindset. It's more
yes.
think about your kids in movement.
Right.
Here's like the usability. If they're I've had situations with kids who are really into art that then wanted to use it for practicing in their video classes in school. Like there are reasons like kids might find this valuable. And if you're speaking to the buyer, which is usually the mother, because like women are all the spending dollars in our country, it's really touching on emotion and legacy first, and then utility second.
Exactly. I get it. Like, and that's the people who do upgrade to it. It is about the emotion and like remembering the way that your kid moved at a certain age. And like, if you preserve the sound captured, the sound of their voice, that sort of thing.
And
But
more than anything, it's about showing off for their high school bully on Facebook. Facebook is big for the moms. If you just mention Facebook, they'll be like, oh, deal. Deal. Yeah, I'm in.
but so brands, no brainer. Real estate,
Real
no
estate's
brainer.
another can of worms. Yeah, that's a quantity game. I don't want to sugarcoat that. Like real estate's a quantity game and getting in with the agents.
Yeah.
And video is so valuable too. Get a drone as well.
Yesterday's interview was with a like really, really good interiors real estate photographer. And he said that's the next thing he's tackling. He's been working on it. I've seen his video. It's really good. But according to him, he's not where he wants to be. But that's it, because we're selling a lifestyle. We're selling a feeling. And that's always what it is. But it's much more in your face with brands, with real estate. And a wedding is like you're selling a memory that you really don't want to forget. Like you really just don't want to forget these things. And a still frame can do so much, but a video takes it to another level. It's a different sense.
Absolutely.
Wow, Shay, this was awesome. And I think you're right. We need a second episode. Shoot. This is I suspect there's a lot of people that are like on your Instagram right now, checking you out, figuring out like so can we before I tell people where to find you and all that, is there anything else that we should touch on?
All I want to say, dear sweet beautiful gorgeous listeners, is to take action. Like quit researching. If you're opening YouTube right now to try to figure out video settings, close YouTube. I just want you to practice and get the reps under your belt and just talk about video in whatever capacity makes you excited. Different mediums are going to make you excited for different reasons. And you just need to share that with your potential clients because people are passionate about what you're passionate about. You just have to share it. So get on it. You have 5 steps to work on.
That's it. But they're so good. Really wonderful, pragmatic, actionable. This is like, it can be tricky interviewing people who have something to sell, because sometimes they're gatekeeping, we're just like teasing, but you just gave so much value to the people who are listening that they can really convert that into money in their bank and a new skill learned. And it was, I love what I just learned. I'm so thankful for you.
Glad. Jill, can I speak to that for just 2 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
In the age of content marketing and in the age of AI, information, like you can find it anywhere. Like you don't need me with my likes and my Valley Girl bullshit to teach you something for you to learn it. So I'm an open book. You can DM me about anything, anytime. When I do sell information, it's because you want hand holding, right? And it's
Right.
because you want my beautiful personality once a week talking to you. You can do this like with your own little googly fingers, Googling the information you need to know. You've got this.
Hell yeah. But if you feel like you need that hand holding, I've never invested in education, like, and this is like just in total contrast to what I just said, but I've
Totally.
never invested in education and not like magically made that money back, like usually like
Same.
fivefold.
Same.
It's so important to recognize when it's time to, hop on somebody else's shoulders and get to that next level, and figuring out who that person needs to be, who can connect with you and speak your language.
Agreed.
And yeah, you're pretty valuable. I thank you so much. So, okay. Yeah, really awesome. I'm really excited about the next time that I shoot video, which is really soon, actually, to incorporate the 5 different types of shots. I've been good about B-roll. I've been good about nothing else.
Right.
So I'm like, but I like having that little checklist, because when you're a photographer, you're working off of posing workflow to some extent. So you're like, do I get this, that, the other? I don't do that with video. I'm like, I guess I'll switch to video now. The kid's running. This is like dad's swinging, like they're doing that. And I love that. I love to, you just like improved my video game so much with those tips. So thank you.
I'm so glad, Jill. Thank you for having me. This was so freaking fun. I adore you already. I love a
really
smart, confident woman. And an Italian.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. So tell people where they can find you, learn more about you, get more of your voice in their car stereo.
Yes. Please check me and my beautiful, gorgeous Italian business partner, Devin, out at Devin, Devin, and A-N-D, Shay, SHAY.com. We have a podcast called The Devin and Shay Show, where there's a lot of this, like a lot of giggling, a lot of value, a lot of honesty. And I want to get Jill on very soon. So bully her into coming on, please. And you can say hi at Devin_and_Shay on Instagram, or just to reach out to me at Shayna_Lloyd on Instagram.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I will link to everything in the show notes. Is there anything else that we want to share that I can link to for folks listening?
Yeah, basically everything I went over today. If you want it condensed in a PDF step by step, it's called the Video Upsell Starter Kit. And it sounds like that link will be in the show notes.
Super duper. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so very much, Shay. You just like hit a home run for so many of our listeners. So that's not an analogy that is ever used. So whatever.
I love it. I'll practice my baseball skills and come back.
Just throw random sports analogies in to level up the testosterone up in this bitch. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm sure you will be back, and I look forward to that.
Me too, Jill. Thank you.
So until next time, keep shooting, keep creating, and keep building the business that supports your dreams. Have a fantastic week. And remember, in the business of photography, your creativity is your biggest asset.